You know the feeling. You walk into a room with a clear purpose, step through the doorway, and your mind goes completely blank. Or you stare at a simple grocery list, put it in your pocket, and instantly forget the first 3 items. In exactly 5 minutes, you are going to perfectly memorize an 11-item sequence. You will be able to recall it forwards and backwards, and you will do it without taking a single note. But first, we have to drop a major excuse. You do not have a bad memory. Your memory is perfectly fine. You simply lack a strategy to file the information away. This equation is the foundation of accelerated learning. When you anchor fragile new information, your short-term memory, to a familiar structure you already know, your long-term memory, you create a durable medium-term memory. It stops the new data from fading. To build that anchor, we need a spatial map you already know intimately. Picture an everyday automobile. We are going to use the physical geometry of this car as a permanent filing cabinet for your mind. Step 1 is mapping out our storage compartments in a strict, logical sequence. We start at the front and move to the middle. Zone 1 is the front grid. Zone 2 is the hood. Zone 3 is the windshield. Zone 4 is the interior dashboard. And Zone 5 is the driver's seat. Now we continue from the middle to the back and bottom. Zone 6 is the passenger seat. Zone 7 is the back seat. Zone 8 is the roof. Zone 9 is the trunk. Zone 10 is the exhaust pipe. And finally, Zone 11 is the tires. Here is the rule for encoding data into these zones. You have to use the C principle: senses, exaggeration, and energize. Your brain naturally filters out the mundane and the boring. If you try to picture a normal, everyday item, it will slip away. To force your brain to pay attention, your mental imagery must be absurdly out of proportion, loud, and bursting with kinetic energy. Let's put this into practice by memorizing a list of 11 superfoods. We start at Zone 1, the front grid. Imagine a massive, photorealistic red apple smashing violently into the grill. See the sticky juice spraying everywhere and hear the crunch of the metal. Move to Zone 2, the hood. Picture an oversized, glowing orange carrot. It is strapped down tightly to the hood like a bizarre hunting trophy. Zone 3 is the windshield. The wiper blades are on high, aggressively smearing thick, greasy slices of grainy bread across your line of sight. Inside to Zone 4, the dashboard. The air conditioning vents are violently shooting out sticky chunks of dried fruit, overflowing the entire front console. Zone 5, the driver's seat. You plunge into a massive mountain of bursting red and blueberries, feeling the wet, oozing juice soaking your clothes. Look over at Zone 6, the passenger seat. There are comically giant, incredibly fragile white eggs sitting there, secured safely by a tight seatbelt. Zone 7, the back seat. It is absolute kinetic chaos back there. Giant walnuts and peanuts ricochet and bounce off the windows like rubber balls. Outside to Zone 8, the roof. Watch a massive, bowling ball-heavy orange drop from the sky, slamming into the roof and leaving a deep dent. Zone 9 is the trunk. You pop it open and the smell hits immediately. A giant, wet, scaly fish aggressively flops over the rear bumper. Zone 10, the exhaust pipe. It's completely jammed with thick, raw broccoli floettes, choking the engine and forcing thick green smoke to billow out. Finally, Zone 11, the tires. The rubber is completely gone. The entire weight of the car is resting on 4 massive, bumpy, irregular sweet potatoes. We just took a fragile, disconnected list of items and locked them onto a permanent spatial map using extreme imagery. Let's see what you retained. This is your blank mental map. I will prompt the zone and I want you to actively call out the image we placed there. What smashed into the front grid? The apple. What is glowing on the hood? The carrot. Smeared across the windshield? Grainy bread. Shooting out of the dashboard? Dried fruit. Squished on the driver's seat? Berries. Strapped into the passenger seat? Eggs. Bouncing in the back seat? Nuts. Denting the roof? The orange. Flopping out of the trunk? The fish. Choking the exhaust? Broccoli. And what replaced the tires? Sweet potatoes. Now do it in reverse. Start at the bottom. Sweet potatoes on the tires. Broccoli in the exhaust. Fish in the trunk. Orange on the roof. Nuts in the back seat. Keep walking that path backwards all the way to the front grid. You just retrieved 11 random items, forwards and backwards, without looking at a single note. Your neurological hardware is flawless. You just finally installed the correct operating system to use it. You accomplished exactly what we promised 5 minutes ago. That belief you walked in with about having a bad memory has been proven completely false, and this system scales far beyond a grocery list. You can use these exact 11 car zones to anchor points of a major presentation, steps of a complex procedure, or concepts for a final exam. But to make this retention permanent, we have to look at how the brain decays information over time. This chart shows the memory forgetting curve. To cement your new medium-term memory into a permanent long-term memory, you must review your spatial map at specific intervals. Test yourself again in 10 minutes, then in 1 hour, and finally, do one last mental walkthrough tomorrow. Once you master your car, you can apply this exact same technique to the layout of your house, your daily commute, or your favorite park. Start building out your mental geometry, and you will transform abstract noise into a lifelong, instantly accessible library.